Alright, so yo, I'm making late night videos. I wanted to do a spoiler talk on the mid-credit scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Recently, I just saw this movie in nice fucking crystal IMAX display, and I'm ready to talk about it. I want to preface and say that preface, just be like on the up and up when it comes to like spoilers, because this will be a spoiler talk and I will be talking about spoilers in the movie, so you might want to click away if you don't want to get spoiled. I know it really sucks as well for the UK people, because they apparently got the movie delayed because of the World Cup and everything. I still think it's a dumb reason to delay that movie, but some of my UK friends cannot see it. I would recommend checking out the description below, and you can see my non-spoiler review on Ant-Man and the Wasp. I tried to keep that non-spoilery as possible, but this video, I ain't giving no shits. So, mid-credit sequence, bam, Hank Pym, dead. Hope Van Dyne, dead. Then we have the last chick. What's her name? Michelle Pfeiffer, Janet Van Dyne. She wasn't in the movie that much, so I feel as though she was way underutilized. Just like Walton Goggins, he was like I wouldn't say he was underutilized compared to her, because she didn't show up until like literally the end of the movie, like for real. But Walton Goggins, he was just not really that intimidating as a villain, and I think he was wasted potential with what they did with this plot. Like, he was basically on a Scooby-Doo chase. That's it. That's all his character amounted to, chasing those damn pesky kids. Anyway, back to the mid-credit scene. So we have the trio dead, both Hopes and Hank Pym. And we have Ant-Man now stranded in the quantum realm because he has no help. I think he tried to collect this stabilization matter for Ghost because they wanted to check on her or something. I don't know. He had a container. And he's stuck now because everyone has been killed by Thanos' snap. The other credit scene isn't really that interesting. It's just a fucking ant playing drums, but you can tell the world is in peril, and this is definitely after Infinity War, after the Thanos snapshot, and everything is pretty much screwed up. Chaos in the streets, no one knows what's happening. Man, your man Thanos out here, apparently Kevin Feige said that the snap affected animals. The freaking snap affected animals, holy shit. But back to the main point. I'm diverging a fucking lot, so forgive me here. It's off the cuff, it's late, I'm drunk. All you need to remember is that the mid-credit scene has a certain particular line that sort of crosses over with some Avengers 4 stuff, because Janet Van Dyne said that Scott Lang should avoid anything involving a time vortex in the quantum realm. What is a time vortex? Well, from what I saw, I'm under the preconceived notion that a time vortex either forwards or push you backwards in time. Doesn't that make the Avengers 4 time travel theory run rampant? Because the only way Ant-Man is going to get out is by utilizing the time vortexes. That means that Ant-Man is probably going to go back into the past. We already seen set photos of Ant-Man with the Avengers in the battle for New York. That is the first Avengers movie. That means that some time fucking travel hoax is happening here, and I think the same thing might happen with Tony Stark discovering some technology with going forward or backward in time, considering that in that very set photo that we saw, Tony Stark's hair has been graying from what people have been noticing. His hair is not, brown as it used to be. I think there's some time travel shenanigans. I thought that John Campea whatever his name is, John Campea, I thought he brought up a good point when he said that, okay, if the Avengers are going to fix everything in Avengers 4, where's the consequence of actual heroes dying and staying dead in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Now, I agree to some extent that the heroes coming back immediately after that movie, it makes everything feel redundant. But as soon as I saw Black Panther get fucking snapped, I knew right then and there that they weren't going to kill him off permanently. Maybe I can see Loki being dead forever because he was killed physically by Thanos. But then again, they had set photos of Loki in the battle for New York. So I don't know if they will either make new timelines now, because you know, time travel stories, they always have diverging points. They always have alternate shit going on that might affect either a different timeline or the present timeline. That's how this whole thing works. I think it's a bit convoluted, but hopefully Captain Marvel, you know, she comes in, she's pretty entertaining with the entire movie, and I hope it's not a convoluted mess. It's something easy to follow, and they did say that this will feel like a full resolution for some characters, so I'm hoping that Tony Stark or any of the old legacy characters, they pass the torch to other characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I think Iron Man and, you know, Captain America's actors, I forget their fucking names and I don't know why. I think it's Robert Downey Jr. and I forget the other guy's name. I forget his name so bad. It's on the tip of my tongue. I am a big fan of the MCU, so I should remember this. Chris Evans. He was, you know, the Human Torch at one point in his life. I think those guys aren't going to go on forever. And with the recent acquisition of Fox, they're free to use the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to chart new stories. That's where I'm looking at, you know, the whole Infinity War blend, the whole Antman and the Wasp blend, the whole Avengers 4 setup. I think there's going to be definitely some time travel shenanigans. I think another indicator is Cassie Lang. She wants to be a hero so bad, dude. She really wants to help her dad. She really wants to become the character she is in the comics. You know, she grows up to don the Ant-Man costume, or Ant-Woman in her case. But she does become a hero later on down the line. So the indicators are being set up. I believe Cassie Lang has a 16-year-old variant. That's an actor that recently signed on for Avengers 4. So all the chips are falling into place. I just wonder how everything is going to be done. To put it in layman's terms, I will say that Captain Marvel comes in. She beats the living fuck out of Thanos. They do some weird timeline, alternate timeline, parallel timeline nonsense, and then everything gets fixed just in time for Spider-Man Far From Home. I love these theories. I just hope they do it in an interesting way, because time travel can get really spotty when it comes to storytelling. I think one of the time travel stories I liked the most was Back to the Future. That was awesome. I love the first Back to the Future movie. So I hope they can pull that off here. It's a lot of lingering threats, man. But again, like I said, if they just find a way to pass the torch from the older characters to the newer ones, because after Infinity War, all the remaining original Avengers are still alive, and I think that might be their redemption movie. Interesting mid-credit scene. Post credits after that, it wasn't too interesting. If you like seeing an ant play bongo drums, then that's right up your alley, I guess. So that's the end of my spoiler talk on the mid-credit scene for Ant-Man. I will see you guys next time. Later.